Guys, you can make it happen in Italy. You can. Don't listen to anyone. Every single journey is so unique, and it is only up to you. Only up to you. What kind of journey you are going to create. Fabulous people, welcome to the podcast for all the babes who create their own life trends. My name is Anastasia, and this podcast is all about inspiring you to relentlessly, I love this word so much, pursue your biggest dreams and live your most authentic, abundant life. Well, they say that all roads lead to Rome. And even though I cannot confirm it for everyone, I can say with all the certainty that all mine, every single one of mine, has led me here to my dream life in the eternal city. And I'm so excited about this podcast episode because not only I'm going to share with you how I moved to Italy with zero plan, still cannot believe I've done it and build my dream life here, but also for those of you who've been dreaming just like me many years ago of moving to Italy or to any foreign country. For those of you, I will give tons of practical tips throughout this episode and hopefully inspire you to make that move. Of course, no two journeys are the same, but I promise to you, this episode is packed with golden nuggets, and I just can't wait to get started. It's going to be so good, so delicious. All right, let's begin. So, I fell in love with Rome when I was 19 years old and came here for the first time to do a study abroad program from the US. I remember when I was in college, we were offered two programs. One was for Paris and one was for Rome. Since I've never been to either of the countries, my decision as a student was based only on one single criteria: which program was cheaper. And of course, Rome was cheaper, so that's where I decided to go. You know, looking back, it's incredible that the entire trajectory of my life was shaped on that one decision that 19-year-old me made. And I don't know if you guys do it, but sometimes I wonder what my life would have been if I chose Paris. It's truly incredible. And the more I live, the more I realize that life is a consequence of big and small decisions that we make. So when I moved here, from the first moment, Rome felt like home. It's almost a poem. And to this day, so many of you ask me, Anastasia, but what was it? What was it about Rome? Was it food? Was it people? Was it Italian men? Was it culture, history? And I always say, guys, it's truly the way Rome makes me feel. And so one semester turned into two, and when I was leaving the Eternal City, I promised to myself that one day I'm going to move back here and build my life here. For the next decade, back in the US and Charlotte, North Carolina, without an exaggeration, there wasn't one single day when I wouldn't think about Rome. I remember waking up and my first thoughts would be what it would be like right now waking up in the Eternal City. I was craving to hear Italian language, to smell Italian espresso, to have an opportunity to go outside and mingle with people and the chaos. I remember driving to work and imagining what a traffic would be like right now in Rome. Every single vacation I had, I spent in Rome. My screensaver at work was with a picture of the Eternal City. So, needless to say, I was obsessed, guys. I was obsessed, and no matter what it took, I wasn't going to give up on my dream. It was the biggest dream of my life to move to Italy and make Rome my home, my permanent home. So when I finally made that move, how do I even describe that day? It will be forever in my memories. And of course, I go into more details of how that day was in my first podcast episode. Those of you who haven't listened or watched, I encourage you to do so if you're interested. But that day separated that old life that took me decades to build from the new unknown life that I was so excited to start building. I was in front of a blank page, and I was the screenwriter, the producer, and the main character. And I was determined to make and to build the dream life in the Eternal City. And nothing was going to stop me. I rented a place for 3 months prior to arrival to Rome. And here I want to take some time to share with you some practical tips when it comes to renting a place, be it in Rome or in Italy in general. And after switching at this point, probably about 5 or 6 apartments and having a lot of friends in real estate in Italy, I can tell you with all the certainty, I know a thing or two about real estate in Italy. So the first thing that I recommend is to not commit to any place until you actually physically see it in person. So I would recommend renting a place for about 3 months, the way I've done it through Airbnb. This will give you enough time to settle into your new life in Rome or Italy in general or any other place, and then go and explore other listings. But at the same time, what can happen, and actually what happened to me, is that when I rented my Airbnb place for 3 months, I fell in love with that place. And I talked to the owner and asked her if she would be willing to rent me that place long term. So she actually rented that place to me long term. And instead of 3 months, I ended up living there for almost 2 years. Another way to look for an apartment or for a home in Italy is to contact as many real estate agents as possible. When I was looking for a new place about 4 years ago, I've been calling so many different real estate agents, obviously different listings that I saw online. And I remember I found one particular apartment that I was interested in. I called the agent, but we were just not good match with that place because it had too many bedrooms. At that point, I didn't need that much space. I still don't. And I left all my information with that real estate agent. 3 or 4 months later, I was still desperately looking for a place because, yes, guys, it takes some time to find a place in Italy. And one evening, I remember my phone rang. I picked up the phone, and that same real estate agent said, "Hey, Anastasia, I have an amazing place that just opened up, and no one has seen it yet. Do you want to see it?" I said, "Absolutely." The next morning, I was previewing this place, and in the afternoon, I was putting an offer on it. And to this day, I cannot believe that whole separate story is something to tell you guys, but I literally manifested my dream place. This has been my absolutely favorite apartment, and it is located on my dream street, guys. Not only I specifically manifested an apartment, I envisioned every single detail of this place, but I also manifested a specific street. Another place where I recommend for you to look at finding an apartment or a home, be it for rent or for purchase, is on immobiliari.it. I will make sure it's going to be written on the screen for those of you who are watching this podcast and not listening. But that is such a popular website for all the Italians throughout the entire Italy, and most people find their future homes on this website. I personally love it. It gives you such a good way of searching for places because it provides you the map, very, very detailed map of each city, and then you can choose by area, by the location, bedrooms, bathrooms, etc., etc. I strongly recommend for you to check out that website as well. Finally, Facebook groups. Believe it or not, in Italy, still a lot of people find their apartments or houses on Facebook groups like Apartments for Rent in Rome. And one advantage of these kind of groups is that most of the time you are not going through an agent, but you're going directly through an owner. So you don't have to pay the commission to an agent. The only thing that you need to be careful of is that you need to make sure that that person actually is the owner of the apartment. So sometimes there are, of course, some scams that are connected to this kind of group. So you just need to do your due diligence and to make sure that you are 100% sure that you're renting from the owner of that place. Now, talking about Facebook groups, the day I arrived to Rome, I already had a networking event scheduled through a Facebook group. I believe it was called Expats in Rome. And that's the thing. If you plan on moving abroad by yourself, you will need to go and meet people. You will need to just put yourself out there, even if you're an introvert, be it for building a new circle of friends or networking for your future career. You will need to go out and meet people. What I did when I first moved to Rome was signed up for so many different groups and organizations: Expats in Rome, American Club of Rome, PWA, Professional Women's Association, and so many others, because that allows you to meet so many different people. And then with some of them, you build strong bonds that turn into friendships. With others, you network and you help each other career-wise. You just never know where all these connections are going to lead you. But at the same time, be prepared, especially if you're moving by yourself, that you will be spending a lot of evenings, a lot of weekends, a lot of holidays completely by yourself. And that is absolutely normal. There is nothing wrong with that. But I just want to make sure that you are prepared for it. You're prepared to spend a lot of time with yourself, which gives you an amazing opportunity to get to know yourself as well. I remember there were evenings when I felt very lonely and very lost. And of course, I will go into those kind of moments of my life a little bit later. Otherwise, this is going to be a 4-hour episode. I used to call my mom and say, "Mom, will it be like this forever?" And I remember her always saying, "Anastasia, no, just wait, patience." And even during these darkest moments of my life, not once, guys, not once, without an exaggeration, I regretted my decision of moving to Italy. Even those lowest moments felt like they were just part of the process of building a life here. And of course, just like with anything in life, nothing lasts forever, and with time, you build amazing connections with people, and those connections turn into friendships. And throughout the years, I've met so many beautiful souls, and with some of them, we built such strong bonds. Some of them, unfortunately, moved from Rome. Some of them are still here, and I'm so excited for, of course, all the future people that I'm going to meet on my life journey. Now, let's talk about a very sensitive topic, something that most people heard of when it comes to living in Italy. And I'm talking about the job market. Job market in Italy is extremely poor, guys. If some of your friends or relatives or anyone moved to Italy, unless they moved for a retirement purpose, I'm sure you've heard them say how challenging it is to find a good job or to build a career in Italy, even if you speak perfect Italian. It is very hard even for Italians themselves, guys, to find a good job in Italy. That's why a lot of Italians actually move abroad and work in France or Germany, US. Unfortunately, that is the reality of the situation. Most expats that I know here, they either work as English teachers or they are retired. And then, of course, you have some exceptions, like expats who have remote jobs in the US and they live here. You have some people who work in real estate, and then, of course, you have entrepreneurs. When I was moving from the US to Italy, I knew that finding a job in banking, because my whole previous career in the US was in banking, I knew that it's going to be very difficult. And at the same time, I honestly did not want to go back to banking. It just wasn't a passion of mine. Plus, I knew that corporate world in America and in Italy, those two worlds are completely different. I also knew that my salary in Italy would be completely different than my salary was in the US for exact same job. So, considering all these things, I knew that going back to banking wasn't an option for me in Italy. So prior to moving, I sat with myself and I thought, okay, Anastasia, what can you do initially in Italy that will give you that financial stability and at the same time allow you to have fun and enjoy yourself? What are you passionate about? As I always loved fitness, and I've been working out consistently since 16 years old. At the same time, I worked at the gym in the US as a student, and I had a fitness channel, fitness YouTube channel. I decided to try myself as a personal trainer in Italy. So I got NASM certification from the US. And when I moved to Italy, I started on building my fitness clientele, which honestly happened so fast because I was so inspired and passionate about fitness and healthy lifestyle. And I remember I had so much fun during that first year or maybe two because I didn't want to work at a gym or for anyone else. I was training them in different parks throughout entire Rome. So we would work out with the backdrop of the Colosseum or in Villa Borghese with the backdrop of St. Peter's Basilica. Guys, those were the days. And at the same time, that gave me time to start working on the projects that I was truly passionate about. And from there, this YouTube channel, personal styling, and my travel agency were born. And of course, I will go into more details of how I built those businesses in Italy. But this episode, again, is not about that because, my goodness, guys, you know I can talk. If I start talking in details about that, again, we will be here for a long time. So I'm trying to keep us organized. But that's how my journey, my career journey started in Italy. But what I recommend for those of you who are not planning on retiring in Italy just yet and want to build a successful career here is to try something you're truly passionate about. You're already in a new country, building a brand new life. You owe it to yourself to try something you're truly passionate about. And if you're not sure what you're passionate about, try many different things. There's nothing wrong with that. And if you feel like you're passionate about many different things, do them all. There are no limits to what you can be, do, or have. Please remember that. Only after I moved to Italy, and for the first time in my life, I experienced that unparalleled sense of freedom. I realized how many people, including myself, fell victims to phrases like jack of all trades, master of none, which, by the way, is not even the full phrase. The full phrase, just in case you don't know, goes like this: jack of all trades, master of none, though oftentimes better than master of one. All of my businesses in Italy are completely different. And yet, every single one of them is experiencing success and incredible amount of growth year after year. Guys, you can make it happen in Italy. You can. Don't listen to anyone. Every single journey is so unique, and it is only up to you. Only up to you. What kind of journey you are going to create, no matter where you plan on moving, be it Italy, Greece, Spain, anywhere in the world. To sum it all up, guys, if you focus on building your brand new life and fall in love with the process, if this is truly your path, every single thing is going to start falling into place. You're going to meet the most incredible people with whom you'll build strong bonds, and they will become your best friends. You will build a career that you're so passionate about. You're going to try new things and start having new hobbies. And if this is something that you want, you will meet a life partner that resonates with that version of you that you built in the process. And if you move to a foreign country as a couple, what I saw so many times, in the process, your connection will grow even deeper because you will be experiencing and building this new life together. When you find courage inside of you to change, the whole world around you becomes the reflection of that change. And if your goal is to move to Italy or any foreign country, but you're having some fears and doubts about it, please, I beg you, don't let your age, society, your background dictate what kind of dreams you should have. You're not a victim of your circumstances. You're a powerful creator of your own reality. Never forget that. Well, fabulous people, thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you're enjoying this podcast and want more of Stay Fabulous series, then please remember to smack that subscribe button, as well as follow and share with your friends and family. Thank you so much for joining, and as always, stay fabulous.